Welcome to 49 Unbeaten, the official ArsenalVavel podcast. I'm joined by Jack and Ben, and we're here to briefly talk about Arsenal's loss to Liverpool, but mainly to preview our upcoming Europa League quarter-final tie against Slavia Prague. The first leg obviously happening on Thursday. So first of all, how are you both doing? It's been a while since we've done one of these with the international break. Good time to rest and relax from this not so great season.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, the international break was quite nice because I didn't have to worry about Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. It was a nice break from football, and then you want it back, and then obviously Liverpool happened. So yeah, apart from that, it's been all right. Yeah.
Ben?
It's never good to be stuck watching international football. You watch most of the games, and they're sort of like pre-season friendlies, despite the fact that they're optimistic equal qualifiers. So it's nice to have some actual football back. I was watching the Champions League last night, realised quite how out of touch we were with that. But yeah, I mean, watching Arsenal's been a bit of a shit show this year, hasn't it? I mean, last weekend was no different. Disaster.
I think that was the worst way we could have come back into playing into domestic football, because you look at that Liverpool team and you sort of like, you've got Kabak and Phillips at the back, you've got an out of form Alexander-Arnold who's just been dropped for England, and it was dreadful. First half managed to get through it 0-0, but that second half was appalling.
It was appalling from start to finish. Like minute one we were awful. In fact, that's a lie. I thought for the first 5 minutes or so, we actually kept hold of the ball quite well. Party was progressing it pretty well. And then it just became wave after wave of Liverpool attack. How they didn't score in the first half is beyond me. And we just, to play against a side with a frail defence, as we've already mentioned, Kabak and Nat Phillips have been exposed quite a few times this season, especially under pressure. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as I think Gary Neville was saying on Monday Night Football, every team looks at it and goes, there's space in behind him, we can attack it. I'm sure we tried to, but it was never set up properly. It was almost like hoof it into that area of the pitch and hope Aubameyang's quick enough to get there and do something with it, which for all of Aubameyang's strengths over the last few seasons, you wouldn't say he's an electric dribbler. He's not one who's going to, pick up the ball, cut inside from further out than sort of the edge of the box and, unleash from, 25 yards or so. So it's just difficult.
I'm not comparing them at all because obviously Aubameyang is a much better player, but you look at what Jesse Lingard did.
Well, yeah, no, you're right though.
And we always need someone with that drive and like not afraid to run in and maybe get tackled and just go and progress. We don't have that, and they're different players, different positions, but Lingard went like Oradama inside their own halves and went and scored. And it wasn't the 25-yard rocket, or it wasn't that, but just run. And we don't have that. It's all too much like Flair and Pepe.
I'm feeling it's like going back. I'm just so worried that it's going to go back to the way it was, where everyone, it reminded me, that game sort of reminded me of, do you remember the Carabao Cup final against City, where we were walking and no one wanted to play? That's what it reminded me of. It just didn't look like anyone wanted to play at all. I just don't want it to go back to that. But you're right. There's no apart from Tierney, who shows that bit of passion and that sort of, drive. There was in that game, especially, and throughout this season, there's been blips where there's been none of that at all, and I just don't want it to go back to, how we were before Arteta sort of came in. But yeah, disappointing, very disappointing.
Yeah, it's not good to go into a crucial European game on the back of a quite humiliating 3-0 loss against, albeit the champions, but are we in that bad of form, or is that performance just cast light because it's the most recent? Because look, before that, we came back to draw 3-3 with West Ham. We lost to Olympiacos, but we beat Spurs. It's a real mixed bag of form. You look at that, so like you beat Leicester, then you beat Olympiacos, you draw with Burnley, come back to 3-3, lose to Olympiacos, but beat Spurs.
I think I think it shows what a lot of Arsenal fans don't want to know in a lot of ways, in that A, we're not good enough to play games at 60% and win them. We've got to be 100% and we're not often 100%. And B, we rely so much on a 34-year-old David Luiz and the most divisive man I've ever seen in my club in Granit Xhaka, just for any sort of ball progression. It's ridiculous. There's no one on Saturday was taking command and saying, "This is my game. I want to do something with this game." This Diego Jota came on and did that. He may not have been electric, but he ended up scoring. He opened up scoring, didn't he? So I mean, it's just so demoralizing to watch the players that we have. They may care and be buying into the system and whatever, but none of them really have that ability to grab a game by the scruff of the neck and bring the whole team forward, apart from maybe Bukayo Saka at 19, which is in itself horrific to think about.
I think that the result against West Ham, that comeback and beating Spurs, has actually it's sort of made Arsenal fans forget. It's sort of, oh yeah, it's really good in the moment. Makes us forget how bad we actually have been. We have not had a good season, but those sort of games where you saw glimpses of what we can be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've lost 12 games. We've lost 12 games.
Is it only 12? I generally thought it was more.
But we've lost 12 games. We've been poor all season. There's, we may have a good game or so, but we'll have that. We may have a little run or so, but we have been shocking throughout the whole season, and that's because, and we're there. We're in the position we're in now because of how bad we've been. It's been throughout the entire season, and it's just been, for certain moments.
We've lost 12, we've won 12, and drawn the other 6, which for someone like Arsenal, historically, is absolutely dreadful. But Liverpool, put it to bed now, is what it is. We lost, but we've got more important things to focus on. I think that game never was going to be like, that's going to define our season now. I don't think. Do you disagree? Do you think that was as important as a European quarterfinal?
What, Liverpool?
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, every game's a final now. You look at it and you say, if we'd beaten Liverpool, there's a feel-good factor around the club. Mm-hmm. You move to within, is it a point of Liverpool? You would have been 6 off Chelsea, who got spanked by West Brom. Spurs drop points. Everybody is dropping points, and every game is really important for us. If we take 21 of the next 24 points, we're probably in Europe next season, because I don't see anyone else keeping that sort of consistency. I don't think we will do that. But, if we can go and put a run together now, it's like that season, Emery's first, where Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal, and no one wanted it. I think they took 4 from the possible 50 points or something ridiculous.
We needed 4 points from our last 8 games, or something stupid like that. We lost to Palace, and
but every time we lost and thought it was over, Chelsea lost and Spurs lost.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in 10th. I mean, 7th is Europe this season. Is that right?
I don't know.
What, the Conference League?
I don't know anymore. So top 4 get Champions League.
5th obviously gets Europa.
5 and 6 get Europe, and then 7 gets.
Well, we've got to remember there's 3 English teams still in the Champions League, and obviously it could be an all-English final, couldn't it?
Yeah, and it could be an English Europa League final.
That's what I mean. So those, qualifying spaces could drop. You said all the way down to the likes of 7. So you never know. Our season's still alive. We've still got a chance to get some sort of.
I mean, but I don't know who drops out then. Spurs, but then they're in a bit of a.
No, I've accepted it for a long time now. We are not getting Europe through the league.
No,
the only way we're going to get it is if we do win the Europa League, and that is even being questioned now.
What I will say is that winning the Europa League, although it's harder, is also safer, because if we put blood, sweat, and tears into getting those European places, and say for example, Liverpool finish outside the top 6 but win the Champions League, it's just we get knocked out. We end up. Do you remember when we knocked Spurs out last season? How good that felt! Just imagine being on the receiving end of that. going through qualifying rounds, playing in like North Macedonia.
Yeah.
We'll get the Champions League and we'll get in a group with like Barcelona, PSG, and
good death. Yeah.
You know what's funny as well? If we ended up in a group with like Barcelona, PSG, and someone like Young Boys, we are finishing bottom of that group.
Yeah.
Because there's no way we go away to Young Boys, play in a professional performance, and win like 3-0. No chance in hell.
That's such a sad thought. That's what we've come to now. That
we would be, if we got into the Champions League with the current squad we have, we would be right at the bottom of the group of teams. Like we'd be seeded.
We'd be first seed, wouldn't we? If we win we'd win it. So we couldn't get 2 teams better than us.
We would get 3 teams better than us.
We get what? Dortmund probably.
Well, Dortmund might not be in it. They're 5th at the moment. They're 6 points adrift.
Yeah.
It's all speculation at the moment. We might not even get any European football next season, but our chances will be improved with the result in this quarter-final. Slavia Prague, interesting team. You can look at it both ways. You can look at it the way that they've beaten Leicester and Rangers to get here. 2 teams who have had, obviously you can't compare, but Leicester in 4th right now, I think. Up there all the time. Rangers won the Scottish Premiership, which, depending on what you think of the Premiership, is either a really great achievement or was to be expected. But there's also some controversy around them, whether they should still be in the competition and what have you. What can we even expect from this? I'm so lost right now.
Controversy.
Yeah.
There's going to be chaos. It's Arsenal, which means there will be chaos anyway. Because Arsenal, I actually watched, when I was watching Liverpool, I thought, while I was going through the first half, I was going through my checklist. I was like, you know what? We survived Leno coming out of his box for no reason. We've survived Ceballos giving the ball away in a stupid area. We might actually do okay in the second half. Yeah. We pull ourselves together. Because we make these ridiculous chances for the opposition.
Yeah.
And we put ourselves in such dangerous positions that you just don't see other teams put themselves in. Mm-hmm. And it's every game. It's so consistent. It's unbelievable. You can literally have a bingo card and be like, oh, that ticked off. That's that ticked off. I reckon you probably get 8 of the 9.
It's a new content idea for ArsenalVavel. the ArsenalVavel bingo card.
Yeah, the bingo card.
But they're a hard team. They're the team that, I mean, you obviously naturally would have wanted Granada. They're the lowest ranked team, I think, in the competition. After that, you look at the teams who are left. Avoid Man United, done. Avoid Ajax, done. Avoid Villarreal with the Emery hurdle, done. It was a good draw, but then you look at what's happened and it's, are we sort of mature enough as a team, or do we have enough strength about us if something happens, if there's another incident, if something like that happens, to either do something about it or overcome it? I don't know if we have that. With Tierney out as well, you look at Xhaka to be the leader in that team. He's a doubt. What happens? Do we have that about us as a team at the moment?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. But as you said, we don't know because we don't know what Arsenal's going to turn up, do we? We know every game. No one knows what Arsenal.
I'll tell you what, though. I would have quite liked Granada simply because their main focal point is Robert Soldado. And that can only go one. That can go one of 2 ways. Whereas he scores the winner to send us out, which is brilliant for narrative purposes, or he's absolutely useless like he was in the Premier League, and we go through.
It's going to be a tough one. I don't know how confident I am of going to Prague and getting a result.
Well, we need a result in the first leg.
Yeah,
that's the most
what I mean. I think we need a solid 3 or 4 cushion to like have confidence. We nearly blew it against Olympiacos. Yeah. Like, I know it was only 1, but that could have been 2 or 3 very easily.
I think we're dreaming if we're going to get 4 goals.
No, I'm not saying we will, but I'm saying it's that sort of cushion that we need to just be explosive and go for it. but also like don't concede that away goal, because you go to Prague, they get an early goal, they sit back and we're out.
You know
really tough.
I'd love to know. Yes, you know how Thomas Souček was telling them how to play against Leicester?
Yeah.
I'd love to know what he told them about us.
Oh, yeah.
Do you reckon he just phoned them up and goes, yeah, they're shit, don't worry about it?
Yeah,
I think he said you'll score a lot of goals against them, but they can hurt you if they want to. Yeah. And it's do we want to? Because I don't want to be in a position where we're 2-0 down at the Emirates and then have to go score 3 or 4, especially in the first leg. But then I don't know if we have enough about us to be like, right, we're going to take this. We want to win this fucking competition, and we go and blitz them.
I think this is a real litmus test for Arteta.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. A lot of them have been, but I think that if he goes out here, I know it's Slavia Prague, and they've beaten Leicester and they've beaten Rangers, but it is Slavia Prague with all respect to them. They're having a good season, but it's still, you know, if they knock us out and we're suddenly 10th without European football, I think a lot of Arteta fans will sort of start turning around. Sort of.
Is he on the line?
No,
I don't think it is. No, but no, I don't think it is.
I'm in a really good position because I want to be able to trust it and be like, right, we won a cup last year, we've done, but it's regression.
But there's a point where it's not always we've had almost the same team now for the past 3 years. We've got the same sort of players, and the same thing's happening. So it's not always Arteta.
We're signing better players though,
but it's down to the players as well. And I think it's down to the squad that we have at the moment. It's simply not good enough. And there's players there that don't want to play for Arsenal. You can just see they.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know what I mean? It's not always Arteta, and I think that's there's Arteta. I have full backing. I have my full confidence with him, but it's that same thing where it's similar with Emery. There needs to be that trust from the players and that passion and the want to play for Arsenal.
Yeah. I think the Cronkies are so important in this because if they see 10th, they're like, we're losing more money than we have without fans. There's more discontent. We've got worse since Wenger. We've got worse since Emery. We've got worse since Arteta's first season. And I'm just worried, like, I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't think they're going to sack him. It will cost too much money. But
that is the crux of the issue, isn't it?
But commercially, as a product of Arsenal Football Club, from going to 20 plus years of Champions League, to dropping out, to sacking your best manager ever, arguably, or definitely in the most recent period, to then Europa League losing in the final, 6th, then 8th with an FA Cup, argue 10th with no trophy. We've got progressively worse. I know it's the squad. I know. Does it come to a point though, if we finish 10th, 11th with no trophy, is that good enough for us?
Okay, let me phrase it another way. How many Premier League teams do you think Mohamed El Neni would start regularly for?
Seriously, or
no? Completely seriously, because he wasn't good enough for us 2 years ago. We loaned him out. I don't think he's got any better. Sure, he's managed to start shooting from 30 yards, but he's not actually got any better as a footballer. He still works very hard, but he's still technically very limited.
I mean, he gets into a Sam Allardyce team, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles gets into a Sam Allardyce team.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he doesn't get into any team in the current top 10.
Oh no, definitely.
Oh no, but he gets into Arsenal.
I mean, this is my
standards.
Point. It's
standards have dropped.
We need money from the Cronkies because El Neni isn't good enough. But then if we've got Sebastian on loan, he's not going to come back. Torreira wants to go to Argentina. Or it's we've signed Partey, great, but put a decent midfielder alongside him. Go out and spend 60 million on Husamawa and put in 2 solid midfielders in there. Go out and splash the cash on Odegaard, get a good centre-back midfield, and build a team around our best midfielder, which is Partey, and don't put him alongside someone who failed at Besiktas last year.
Do you think if we do finish 10th with no silverware, do you reckon that's a big enough wake-up call for the Cronkies to actually start putting money into the club, or do you think it'll be the same old, same old?
I mean, I think it drives them away from the club. It's just like, oh, we're like, this is a failing product. I'll put more money into the LA Rams or whatever team he owns. And I mean, maybe he sells us. I know we're still commercially a massive brand, but maybe he cashes out. Maybe he sees that it's not working.
I think he's gonna. Well, they are going to be quite balanced about it. I mean, all the reports we have suggest that they funded the Thomas Partey deal, but I think the problem is that they're a lot like Wenger in that they hadn't really moved with the times, and they're not willing to accept the fact that you have to buy trophies now.
Yeah,
this isn't the early 2000s, even the early 2010s. Everybody can afford to spend over 100 million in a window. Look at Aston Villa; they came up and spent 140 million.
I mean, Man City are going to spend 100 million on one player, and they're going to sign more than one player this summer. I mean, you expect Haaland's gone in the summer and he's going to Man City as a replacement.
Although us fans don't want to, accept the fact that spending money does, bring you silverware, but
it does.
It does.
We don't want to be like a Man City or Chelsea to the extent where we've got oil, like not oil money, but we've got money coming in from people who can A, afford and B, want to make a success of a club, and will do that by bringing in the best players. Or someone who's got. Yeah. To be fair, Kroenke is more interested in his NFL team. Yeah. That's what makes him the money. He's American. There's more passion. There's more interest in there. Whereas you look at people who have bought football clubs because there's a passion, there's an interest in making that a success. And I don't know whether it's Kroenke, whether it's Stan Kroenke and he takes charge of the Rams and leaves Josh in charge of us, whether it's new ownership, what we need. But it's not good enough. And I don't think they'll sack Arteta this season. But if we keep getting worse, and we don't get anything, then he's gone next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this still. I've been doing a lot of depressing thinking about Arsenal in the last 3 or 4 days since the game, and everyone, was saying how we compare to Liverpool and all this, that, and the other in terms of we're in a process and all of this about Klopp's first season or Klopp's second season, and then you look at the sales that they managed to get in a pre-COVID market with like Jordan Ibe, Dominic Solanke, obviously Coutinho's the big one, but they sold really well around them. They sold Danny Ward for 9 million.
Emery Chan.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal don't have any value in their squad. Apart from Saka, Martinelli, Tierney, who you don't want to sell.
No, I mean, I think there's our problem is contracts. We've got it's contracts, and I think it's our recruitment and whoever's in charge of transfers we've let go, I think, because Joe Willock.
Yeah, that's for me.
Joe Willock, love him. Arsenal Youth Academy, not good enough to get into this team. Young, English. You said with 3 years left on it, 3-4 years left on his contract, 3 years maybe. He'll go for 15, 20. You look at Brewster went for stupid money and hasn't scored for Sheffield United. If we had 2 or 3 years left on Nketiah, Willock, Niles, those players that frankly aren't good enough at the moment for Arsenal. So look, you can get 15, 20 million for young English talent.
But this is the thing, isn't it? We don't have that much on their contracts. I think Nketiah's got 12 months. Lacazette's got 12 months. Guendouzi's got 12 months. Everybody.
This summer, we've got a lot of players on 1 year contract.
I think someone said 11 players in our first team.
Charles Watts did it all
alone.
With what we've got out there.
Have got like 12 months or 18 or 24 or whatever months left on their contracts. And because we either don't sign them up fast enough or we don't sell them quick enough, we are in this position where Lacazette could feasibly, he's a £30 million striker probably to the right buyer. He could go for 15 in the summer because we know he can walk away on a free the next summer.
You look at someone like Balogun. We've not had it quick enough. He wants to say we want to keep him, but he'll have better offers now. He can walk away now for free to anywhere he wants outside of England. That in a year, 2 years time, even now, you look and say maybe 10, 15 million for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, we're not very good at selling players, which is kind of very difficult on when you're trying to run a self-sustaining model. And we're also not very good at buying players, which again makes it quite difficult. We've got better at the buying players bit, but I haven't seen us we've paid off Socrates, we've paid off Mustafi.
Is Mustafi gone or is he on loan? Because I've read
he's gone. Kolasinac is on loan, I think.
That's what I read, but then I read an article. I read articles the last couple of days being like, "Oh, that the on loan Arsenal star's completely been frozen out. He won't play again for Schalke." Which I thought we got rid and he's gone on a free, and Kolasinac was on loan. So
I think that is the case because Kolasinac has.
I don't know whether they're reporting it wrong or whether we just remembered it wrong. We could talk for a lot longer for a lot more episodes. We should. Maybe we will about Arsenal's transfer policy and recruitment but not Olympiacos. We beat Olympiacos. God, it's so long since you've done this. You can tell. Slavia Prague, home, first leg, Thursday. Ben, how do you see this one going? Can you pull a prediction or a analysis of what's going to happen out?
Not really. I've only seen Slavia Prague in the 4 games that they have played against English teams.
British teams.
Yeah, British teams in the Europa League.
That's going to come at you.
I just think they tend to be very compact. They work hard for each other. They've got some quality in their side, but it shouldn't be anything to really worry Arsenal in terms of if you're looking at relative squad value, relative squad, how much they cost, how good they are perceived to be. But they work very, very hard. And you can't put a value on that. That's something that we've found out to our cost this season. And I think they're going to be very compact. They're going to look to try and break up our progressive lines. It's quite difficult to predict, really, because as Jack says, you never know which Arsenal are going to turn up. And if Arsenal
the team selection's massive, because you look at that, you'd be like, right, Tierney's out, Odegaard's probably out, Xhaka, Saka, Smith Rowe, and then we'll get a front three of Aubameyang on the left, Pepe on the right, Willian through the middle, with Lacazette up top.
We won't. We'll get
Cedric left back, Bellerin right back.
We'll probably get Cedric at left back. I can't see him dropping Saka back to left back.
No.
Again.
Oh, please don't.
Saka probably back on the right. Smith Rowe back in the middle, so Martin Keown will be over the moon. I'd love to see Martinelli on the left, but I reckon we'll see Pepe. He has to stop Aubameyang, doesn't he? He has to.
He has to drop him. We all celebrated when he signed that new contract, and sort of Arsenal teased it, and then there was with the mask and the Tyler. It's not been a good season. I think he's on 12? Is he still on 12 goals or something? 13 goals, something like that. Which Premier League striker? I think he's on that, isn't he? Or is he on?
I have no idea.
I think he's on 12, 13. I think he's one of them.
That 12 mark, yeah. Which, for a normal striker is fine. For someone of his standards and his expectations,
the wage he's on,
and the wage,
well.
and the fact that he does nothing else apart from score goals for our team.
Yeah,
he's not very good anywhere else.
Look, score prediction then, Ben, because this could go anywhere. You're right, but be bold. We've got a day to go before the game.
I'm going to say that, and I'm going to pull this one completely out of my arse. I'll be honest. I'm going to say that they're going to have a bollocking after the Liverpool game. Some of them are going to wake up. Xhaka coming back is going to be huge. Saka's going to be brilliant again. We're going to win 4-1.
I hope so.
Do you think we're going to score 4 goals?
Go on, Jack.
Yeah. The same thing about coming back from Liverpool. Arteta wasn't happy, so that's what I'm hoping for. They get a bit of a boost from get a bit of a telling off. So I'm not going to go. I'm not going to say we're going to score 4 goals.
I'm going to be silly about it.
Yeah. No, I'm going to say I think we'll win, but I don't think we'll win. With a big margin. I think we'll win 1-0. and then we're gonna have to proper go for it away. I
Do
think.
you think we'll go through?
I think we will. Yeah.
I reckon.
think we will.
Well, I'll go. Yeah, as I say, I reckon we'll win 4-1 in the first leg. I reckon we'll lose the second leg 2-1, and we'll go through just without winning.
It's really hard. I want to say it's going to be 3 or 4-0. It's going to be comfortable. You can never say that with us. Like, you can, I'm going to say 3-1.
Okay,
It's hopeful.
that's quite good for you.
I think, I think it might be 2-1, but you've got to. If you put optimism out in the air, surely you get something back.
Speak it into existence, mate.
Yeah, something like that theory should work. So I'm going to go 3-1. Just hope for the best, really. We'll go through. We need to go through.
Yeah.
And then who do we have in the next round if we go through? Villarreal
or oh god, who are they playing? Is it Ajax or Ajax?
That's the other side of the draw.
I can't remember who they're playing then.
I just hope we get Villarreal. I really want to.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Don't say these things.
You're a great tie.
We don't want Villarreal. Emery's the Europa League master.
Well,
apart from when he manages Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Apart from let me just get up who they've got. Dynamo Zagreb, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah.
I mean, you'd hope for Zagreb at that time, wouldn't you? And then who's the worst team? The Granada final. Arsenal Granada.
Granada final.
I'll tell you what, I'd love Granada to knock Man United out. That'd be so funny.
Well, it'd be so good. But then they'll lose to Ajax. We'll get Ajax in the final and do what United don't do what United did, and then we'll probably lose to them. But that's a few weeks away. Month or so away. That's it for now. It's been a bit depressing of an episode for our return. Although we're laughing now.
We're crying inside.
You never know with Arsenal. No, it's not Olympiacos. I keep saying Olympiacos. It is Slavia Prague on Thursday, Europa League quarter-final, home. Are we at a stupid o'clock or are we at normal European?
We're at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
By normal European tie. Thank you for watching or listening, whatever you've done, probably watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, follow these two. And we'll catch you next time on Friday after Arsenal's 4-1 win. See you next time.